Howdy, folks. Thanks for tuning in. My name's JB Zelke, and this is the Dusty Vaquero podcast. Punchy, poetic, pure. All right, we're in Turkey, Texas at the Dry Creek Saddlery Supply Company. We're hanging out at the Caprock Cowboy Fandango that they're doing this weekend. It's the second one they've done, and first time Zack has come up here and played this. I feel like I've never seen Zack in the same spot twice. We meet everywhere you can possibly imagine, just all over the West. We just run into each other. But, so we got Zack Aaron here. He's, Texas home? You claim Texas as your home, or Arizona?
Yeah, I jumped around a little bit.
You want to pull that mic? You want it like a fist from your mouth, roughly.
Yeah, I jumped around a little bit as a kid, but, I claim Southeast Texas.
Mm-hmm. Down in the Houston area where it's hot and muggy and...
Yeah. Big mosquitoes.
Yeah. Swampy.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about... I usually started off from the beginning, so... But where exactly was your upbringing, and what were you doing as a kid? Were you playing sports? Were you playing music your whole life? Like, what did your childhood look like?
Yeah, so I was born in El Paso, and I was still a baby when my mom moved to southern Arizona, and that's where she met my dad, who adopted me and my older brother when they got married. And so I lived there till I was 12, and then we moved to Southeast Texas. So I spent most of my younger childhood in southern Arizona. And yeah, I was a pretty shy, quiet kid, but I played football, sports, and had a BMX bike. I thought I was going to be a X Games kid, and just stayed outside building forts and making bow and arrows out of yucca sticks and stuff like that.
Yeah.
All the normal desert kid stuff, catching horny toads.
And was it your dad that Arizona Cowboys about your dad, right?
Yeah.
And so he did some cowboying in that down around that southern Arizona country.
Yeah. He rodeoed and he day worked. He worked on a few different ranches in southern Arizona. One, I can't remember the names. One of them was in Sonoyta, Arizona. And he was actually working on ranches. There's some family video of us helping him feed horses when I was real little, but he got really hurt and had a lot of nerve damage in his back, and he couldn't sit a saddle, couldn't put weight on his feet. So newly married with another kid on the way, he had to go find work elsewhere. But he rodeoed too. He'd come to Texas a lot when he was younger to help out with some bull riding schools and stuff at Gillies back in the day. So that was Pasadena, and he worked with Bob Blackwood Spurs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He was good friends with him in his younger days. But rodeo and day work, and he did it all. Did all events, rodeo.
Yeah, but that's something that he kind of had to let go later in his life, and
I wasn't around it other than like my earliest memory is like helping feed horses, and then it was just like gone, because he had to find other work. So he worked for a fence company for a long time, for a friend of his, and we'd be around horses and cows and stuff like that, but it wasn't like, I wasn't a ranch kid at all. Mm-hmm. I didn't grow up sitting on top of a horse every day. So.
Right. And was your dad a musician?
No. Nope. But he loved Chris Ledoux and old cowboy songs. His claim to fame was he was the first one that bought a Chris Ledoux tape at a boot shop in Southern Arizona. And,
Oh, yeah.
and all his friends were like, "Who is this?" And he's like, "It's Chris Ledoux. I just found this tape," And he was the guy that brought Chris Ledoux to Southern Arizona,
That is cool.
And I bought him the biography, I think, of Chris Ledoux, and I could just hear him in there reading it and just laughing his ass off because they ran a lot of the same circles,
Right.
But he never met him. But
Was it that Gold Buckle Dreams book? Is that the
I think
one?
so. Yeah.
I haven't read
It's
that
been
yet.
years ago.
I've heard that's a great book, but I haven't read it yet. But
I hadn't either. I don't know why. I need to buy it and check it out. I know I'd like it. But.
So when did music come into your life? How did that happen?
As with all my pursuits, it's just like a really random story. Like I got out of high school, made it all through there, never touching a guitar, and I got a job working construction. So I quit my other job at Sears and Roebuck, and went and worked construction for the summer. And one of the guys I was working with played guitar. And I kind of fell in with him and his buddy, and we were hanging out a bunch, and I eventually was just like, "Hey, can you teach me how to play guitar?" Like it was just this easy thing, like you just teach me in an afternoon,
Right.
And they listened to a lot of, Pat Green and Corey Morrow and like the earlier Texas country kind of stuff, and I'd never really heard any of that stuff. So it just kind of opened another world for me, and he agreed to show me guitar, so I bought a $80 electric guitar on the way home because I was going to be his lead guitar player because that's really easy to do. Yeah. And it just snowballed from there. Like I got addicted to it. I would play, like, if I wasn't working, I was playing guitar.
Mm-hmm.
And
what age was this? This is like right after high school?
I was 18, so I was 18. I turned 18 right that summer.
And then you went into the military around that time, right?
Yep. I didn't know what I was going to do, so I went and signed up for community college because they're like, you're supposed to go to college. And I was like, yeah, this is pretty expensive. Not going to be able to afford this. Not even possible. So then, and my older brother was in the Air Force, and they were talking me into it, and I was like, I think I want to go in the Army. And they kind of bullied me into picking the Air Force, and which was good. I mean, I did that, and I was a crew chief on F-15s for 4 years. But that's really when I was diving into music, like, full bore. Anytime I could, I would play in the smoke pit. I'd sit around and drink with my buddies. I'd play guitar, and, like, I started trying to write songs. I started trying to sing because I was never a singer. Like, I had to learn how to sing. And I was this real shy person, so singing in front of people was an absolute nightmare. But I kind of figured it out. Alcohol helped with that a lot.
Yeah.
And, yeah. So by the end of my tour in the Air Force, I was just like, I'm getting out and I'm going to try to play music. So.
And where did you get to go anywhere cool while you were in the Air Force?
I got to go to Alaska for a couple weeks. That was real cool. So that's actually, I say I've played in 49 states, and I count that because I took my guitar on the TDY, so I played guitar in Alaska. I didn't have an actual show, but.
Was that in Fairbanks or like North
Anchorage.
Pole? Oh, Anchorage.
Yeah, Elmendorf Air Force Base.
When I was up there in Alaska, I drove past this. There's a little town called North Pole, Alaska. And it's
Yeah.
tourist trap with, a petting zoo and all that. But
Yeah.
somewhere on that stretch of highway, there's I think it's an Air Force base. It might be.
Probably.
But
I think there's 2 up there.
Yeah, this one, it's inland, but you drive by and there's just great big lines and lines and lines of airplanes parked out there on the.
Yeah.
But that's a cool spot up there in Alaska.
Yeah, it was neat. I couldn't go to work for about an hour because there was a moose outside the barracks.
Wouldn't let you out.
There's a moose. If you see a moose, don't come to work. I saw a moose every day.
So you get out of the Air Force and you start pursuing music. How did you start doing that? Because one thing that I've noticed about you is you're very good at, you book all your own shows for the most part, and you play a ton of them, and they're all over the place. And sometimes I'll see you'll post on Facebook and you'll circle a quarter of the United States and say, looking for shows here. And it seems to work, but I don't see a lot of other people doing that. I mean, it's a very simple thing to do, but that's just part of the hustle of finding shows. But you've been doing this for a while now. What did it look like at the beginning when you were trying to figure out how to make a little money playing music?
Yeah, so I've always had some kind of day job on the side, because I didn't want to have to do or play a bunch of cover shows. I wanted to play the shows that I wanted to playing my music and the covers that I want to play. So I've always had some kind of other income to help support it, but I always just lived like I was broke still, because I was spending it on going on tour. Like 2 years ago maybe is when I started breaking even on tour. Like, I've lost my ass forever, as with anybody else trying to do this, but I wasn't afraid to go out there. I wasn't afraid of getting in a bind, of getting stranded, of any of that. I was just going out and doing it. And a lot of people are afraid of that. And they don't want to feel that discomfort of the insecurity of just going out there and making it happen, which is fine. But I wasn't afraid of it at all. And that's just what I was going to do, and that's what I did.
And I should add in here, you've got this van that you kind of built out, but it's a pretty sick rig. You've welded up and made roof racks and all this other stuff for it, but you shoe horses out of this van, and you not any longer, but we're riding broncs, and you're playing music, and so this van is like, it's got everything you need in it to go around, and you could pick up a job shoeing 3 head of horses before your shows, and that's something you'd pretty regular do. Is you'd either the day after, day before, whatever it was, you'd find somebody's got horses that need trimmed or whatever, and your hour before the show you're under a horse, and then that's dedication to keep things moving down the road, because it's like you've got your anvil where it'll swing out the back, and you can just shoe horses out of the back of this van, and that's I don't think I've ever seen anybody else do that.
Yeah. I've been pretty lucky. Because like I said, I've always been like a super shy kind of person, and but mainly through music and through rodeo, like, I've been able to meet a lot of friends and build this huge network across the whole country, to where if I do get in a bind and I need some work shoeing horses or whatever, fixing fences or whatever, like, I'm probably within a couple hours of somebody who would hire me on to give me some work,
Right.
And so yeah, I think I just hit it so hard for so long that I built a good network of people to where I can pick up work if I need it, or have a place to stay if I need it, or have somebody that'll help me get a show if I need it. Like, as much as I hate the word networking, that's what it is, basically. It's pretty important.
And when you started out going out and playing these shows on the road, did you just want to be on the road as much as possible, or were you longing for home? I feel like that's something that a lot of people struggle with on the road is, I've road dogged it a bunch, and I don't really care if I'm home or not.
Yeah.
And it seems like at times you're that way too. But there are also people that are like, man, I can't wait to get back home and sleep in my bed and blah, blah, blah. But as hard as you've hit it, you've pretty much made the road your home, it seems like.
No, I've never longed for home, really. It's just where I sleep and where I store my shit, like, I don't care. But I own my own house. Like, when I was in the Air Force, I bought a little piece of land, like literally an acre. And when I got out, I bought a repoed trailer house and put it on there. And so, like, I own my own home. But no, it was never like I need to get back there or anything. And, it's not that I love being on the road. Like, it's inconvenient to live out of a van, you know. It's not comfortable at all. So I like the comfort of, like, having a home and being able to stretch out, you know, and open a full-size fridge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And, but I love being on the road, and I love just love all of it. Love meeting new people, seeing new things. Yeah.
I think, well, talk about maybe how being on the road is maybe, and like you said, talking to all these new people, seeing new places, just hearing stories from different parts of the country has a huge impact on your songwriting and kind of the stories that you want to tell. And that's, I imagine, had a pretty big impact on you when you started kind of getting out there. And you meet guys from all over in the military to begin with. So you start getting introduced to it there, but then you go hit the road and like, I imagine you've got some really funny, witty songs that people love, but I imagine those kind of were pieced together all over the country from different types of things.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I'm such a curious person. Like, I have a hard time, like, picking teams with people because, like, I'd be like, well, I can kind of see why they think this way, you know? Or, like, I try to understand at least why somebody else would think differently than me. And that all started in the military because I met some of my best friends in the military that I still talk to today. I just went hunting with one of them in November. But, yeah, you just kind of learn to understand people a little better in the military in particular. And then, yeah, the traveling. Like, I have friends from so many different walks of life. It's ridiculous. And I don't agree with every thought that they have, but I respect them still, you know, and,
right.
And that traveling kind of instills that in you for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There's I can't even remember, I'm going to butcher it if I try and quote it, but there's a really famous quote out there that I've seen before that, like, traveling basically it kills your kind of prejudice or the idea that you are right.
Absolutely.
I mean, because nobody is, you could say everybody's right or nobody's right, and probably both are true. But, like, the more, like you're saying, that you go out and see other perspectives and stuff, it's like, well, that ain't me, but I totally understand where that comes from.
Yeah.
Like, especially after you've been to a place where they're from. Like, that's a huge problem in our country in general, probably, is like people are so disconnected that they think if you think different than me, then you're the devil. And it's very hard for them to wrap their head around, how could this person have even come to this conclusion on this issue?
Yeah.
But
they've never even been close enough to that person to touch them, to shake their hand, you know,
exactly.
like, it's so.
And they're just being fed, like, two different things. They grew up in two different environments, two different places. And so, I think, like you're saying, getting out and just seeing other people, I can totally, like, it humbles you pretty quick.
For sure.
It's like there ain't one right way to do anything.
Yeah, because the people on either side of those keyboards, they could both be right. Mm-hmm. What works for this person may be totally different than what works for this person. So why even argue? Like,
right. Yeah.
You're 1,000 miles apart from each other, living totally different lives.
You're just bored and want to fight somebody.
Yeah.
So at what point did you rode broncs or ranch broncs? Or
Saddle broncs.
Saddle broncs.
Yeah.
At what point did that start? Because you started later than most people. That wasn't something like you grew up doing. You started later on.
I grew up, like, listening to my dad tell stories about rodeo and stuff, and for whatever reason, it just was never a part of my life. But it was always kind of like romanticized in my mind. I always thought cowboys were cool and rodeo was cool and stuff, and I would tell people that my dad was a bronc rider, and write songs about stories that he told me, and then one day I was drinking whiskey with a calf roping buddy of mine, and he said he was going to a bronc school, and I was like, I didn't even know you could do that. Is that a thing? And he pulled this bronc saddle somebody let him borrow out, and I was like, where's the saddle horn? You know, like, I was like, what is this? And I was like, hell, man, I'll go with you. And he's like, well, all right, let's go. And I think it was like 2 weeks later we went, and it was Jake Brown. You met him. He's a bareback rider.
Oh, yeah.
Went to the NFR like 6 or 7 times, but he lived right down the road from me. But it was his bronc school that he put on in Hillsboro.
Oh, this is when you're living down in like Cleveland.
Yeah, I was
area.
still in Southeast Texas, and so yeah, I went. Had never been on a bronc, never sat in a bronc saddle, and the guy I went there with, the calf rope, he's like 6'2", and we're sharing a saddle, which
Oh, man.
I know now is the dumbest
Impossible.
shit you could ever do in your life, and but I mean I won't go through all the details, but I rode the first one that I ever got on. I stayed on it, and so of course I'm like, well, this is easy, you know.
Right.
And but it was he just like farted off across there, and I stayed on, and like I had longer hair at the time. My hat blew off, and my hair's fucking waving, and I looked like
Right.
Tilden Hooper, you know. And but oh man, I was so hooked on it, and I was in terrible shape at the time. I was smoking a pack of cigarettes a day, you know, drinking a lot, and just not in a good spot in my life at all. And I actually credit bronc riding to kind of saving my life a little bit, because it made me kind of turn things around a little bit. But because you can't ride broncs and live like that. But yeah, so I proceeded to get bucked off the next 50 horses before I rode another one. But I like started working out, I ended up quitting smoking, and which, I mean, everybody likes the cowboy that smokes a cigarette and gets on a bull, you know, but I'm not the most athletic person, so I'm not a natural at anything. I have to work my ass off to get good at anything.
Right.
So yeah, and I just kept doing it and figured it out. Jake, like I said, lived right down the road, so he had practice horses, and he would let me get on a couple horses when they would practice, and was pretty helpful. You know, he's a bareback rider, but obviously he knows a bit about bronc riding too. And yeah, I got a spur board. Finally got my own saddle, and then just as I was when I first picked up guitar, like I got obsessed with it.
What was your first bronc saddle? What make was it?
It was a West that I got from Joel PQ, and it weighed probably 50 pounds. I don't know. It was heavy. It was a solid tree, and it was just the heaviest thing ever. And it was okay. It was good to learn. And then after that one, I got a doll, but it was 17 inches, and then I just pulled the seat out, and I stacked a bunch of leather back there. Like, that would just fix it, you know?
Yeah.
And,
17-inch seat is huge.
Yeah. So I rode that for a little bit, and I got a little better in that one. And then I bought a G-Bar G. Or no, I bought one from Cody Demos that he had kind of built out at Randy Severe's shop.
Oh,
they
out in
were good
Pendleton.
buddies, yeah. And it was a little small, but like it had really good swells on it, so it was helped me kind of stay in the seat a lot better, or stay on top anyway. But it was just too small. Like I couldn't really get my feet out in front.
Oh, right, yeah.
Real good. And
but you could at least stay on.
I could at least stay on, and you're not learning anything from the ground, so it's kind of good that I was able to stay on with that one. And then I bought a G-Bar G2, and that's the one that I rode until October when I hung it up.
When you think back on your riding career, is there like one rodeo or one ride that really sticks out in your mind is like that was the best one?
Yeah, probably it was in Cold Spring, a little rodeo. I think there was like 8 bronc riders entered, and I ended up winning that rodeo. And it's 30 minutes from the house, so it's damn near a hometown rodeo. But that was the first one that I won where I was like, I deserved that, because I made a good ride. It's not like there was only 2 bronc riders at this little rodeo. It was only 8, but I was like, I made a good ride, and there was competition. I actually earned this win, because I'd done good in some other ones, but it was like, just a couple riders or something.
Right.
And maybe I was the only one that stayed on. But yeah, and that one, because I had got to stick one in the neck before that, and so I knew that feeling, but I hadn't made a good ride where I was sticking them every jump, and I did that one, and I was like, holy shit! Like I remember feeling goosebumps like while I was riding.
This is working.
It was the wildest thing. And I got off, and I'm not one to like celebrate or anything because I'm just not good at it. But inside, I was wanting to fucking explode because I was so excited how good of a ride that was. But that one probably, and then I made a really good ride, for me anyway, in Crosby, Texas, and I won second out there. And then I got on one of Jake's horses, General Cup. He's just this big, strong bastard, and he'd bucked me off hard a couple times. And I got on him. I didn't make a good spur ride, but I actually stayed on top, and that was another one where I was like, okay, I'm figuring this out. If I can stay on this strong bastard, then I'm figuring it out. But
there was, I don't know if it was last summer or 2 summers ago, I ran into you up in Jackson Hole, Wyoming, and I don't know if it was the same day, but it was in like a 3-day stretch. You rode at the Jackson Hole Rodeo, rode a saddle bronc. You played a gig at the Lost Creek Dude Ranch. Yeah. And then I think the following morning, they put you on some fat dude horse and shook a slicker at it and tried to get it to buck for a photo shoot for, Scott Slusher's here in Turkey.
Yeah.
But it was I think Tina was there too, taking photos.
Yeah, that's where I met her up there, yeah.
But it was a photography workshop, so, and I don't know, you might have been trimming, did you help Jake trim horses too that time?
So, yeah.
So you got on a saddle bronc at the rodeo in town, shoed horses with our buddy Jake, played a gig at the Dude Ranch, and then the following morning got up and got on some sour dude horse so they could take pictures of it bucking, and tore your bicep in the process, I believe. Or was it your groin?
It was both.
You tore both?
Yeah. I tore my bicep. I was on that thing for so long to where I was just like, oh, God, I hope they're done. So I got on that first. The photo shoot was like, I drove from Texas to Wyoming. Like, I think I stopped for like 4 hours of sleep. And I got to Lost Creek, got out the van, like put my shit in the cabin. Or no, I think I got to sleep that night. So, and then I had to wake up early the next morning and start the shoot. And so I'm like all van cramped, and then I go and get on this sour dude horse for way too long. Like, damn, I was on it for so long. And this dude, and they had originally said I was going to be in a round pen. Mm-hmm. And I thought I was going to be in a bronc cell, so I was like, no problem. I could handle that. And they're like, well, we're going to put you out in this pasture. And I was like, yeah, that's fine. Let me get my rein and my saddle. And like, well, can you get in just a regular saddle? And I was like, yeah. And like, can you use split reins? I was like, shit. Yeah.
I went to hell quickly.
And so I get on and in that, and this old fat sour dude horse.
Yeah.
He's kind of a big, strong bastard.
Yeah, he's
really.
A big honker too.
And that was fun. So I just kind of rode around that. Mark Lundy was there as my pickup man, and he's got his slicker out, waving his slicker at this thing. I'm like so damn tired by the end of it. I put me a night latch on there. And that's how I ripped my bicep.
Yeah.
bearing down on that thing, and this thing just takes out hauls ass straight towards this
A buck and rail fence.
fence.
Yeah.
Just beeline, and I'm like, we're going over. And apparently everybody back there thought the same thing too. I found out later. They like put their phones down or their cameras down, like, oh shit.
He's about to go for
And he goes and he stops hard and just cuts it to the left, and that's what popped my groin. I stayed on top, but it popped my groin bad. I still have that injury. Like, I never got over it.
Huh.
And yeah. So I get off of that round. And I tell Mark, I'm like, shit, I just popped my groin. And I just kind of like look over at everybody, and they're like cheering a little bit. And I'm like, do y'all need another round? And they're like, yeah, get on.
Get on another one.
Fuck, man. So I get on again with my popped groin and aggravate it more. And then, yeah, got out of it, and I went on a trail ride that evening with everybody and stuff, and I'm just like, shit, hurting so bad. Like, who wants to lope? And I'm like, damn it, I just need to get off this damn horse. And so yeah, and then I played that night. And I think that's when you came out there, and I think the next day or the day after was when I went and got on one at the Jackson Hole Rodeo.
In town, yeah.
And I was really hoping for a right hand horse because my left groin was pulled, but I got a left one. And yeah.
I don't think many, there's a lot of people out that want to sing songs about cowboys and living that life and whatever. That's fine, but I guarantee you there ain't many, if any, that have ever had a 3-day stretch like that where you initially just said, yeah, I'll play a 2-hour gig for you.
Yeah.
And it turned into riding buck and dude horses, riding PRCA broncs, and shoeing horses all in a 3-day stretch. Yeah. That's pretty wild.
Yeah. And you'd have thought I would have made more money in that 3 days. Yeah. But I was still like, how am I getting to the next one?
That is crazy. So how many albums do you have out now?
I have 4 out, and I'm working on my first live album right now. It's getting mixed. I'm like whittling it down to the tracks I want to keep on the album and stuff, and I'm hoping to put that out like this summer.
What did that process look like for you as far as recording goes? Because I feel like the kind of just starting out artists, that's a big hurdle. One of the first big hurdles you hit after you start playing music is, okay, now I want to cut an album. Yeah. And what did the first one look like for you? Did you record it with friends, or did you go to a big studio, or how did you do it?
No, so I initially was in a band, and it was called Lost County. Was actually with some buddies of mine that I was in the Air Force with. I was like, I'm getting out. I'm gonna be a rock star. Mm-hmm. And they're like, hell, we'll go with you. And they got out too and moved down to Texas, and we started a band. And we did that for 2 years, and then I kind of like really started leaning into the songwriter thing, and I went my own direction, but. We had got screwed over a couple times trying to make recordings with that band. The first time, it'd be hard to say that they screwed us over, but it was just like a very bad recording that we didn't even really want to release. But we went to somebody else who's like, $500, make you a great album, and yeah. It was, I didn't even give it to my brother. Like, it was the worst shit I've ever heard in my life. So we got screwed over pretty bad there. And
sometimes you get what you pay for with stuff.
We got exactly what we paid for. So, and so shortly after that, I'm like, I'm going to do my own thing because I don't like the direction the band's going, and I'm like leaning into like Guy Clark and Towns, and really getting into all that stuff, and we were basically like okay lyrics masked by power chords kind of band, you know,
Yeah.
like it was kind of weird. But so yeah, from those experiences, I decided like I'm gonna go work. I'm gonna pay for a good album. So I got a job working on a drilling rig. So I roughnecked for a little bit and saved up some money. I left there. I went and I was a welder helper for a bit, and I got into pipe fitting, and that's how I paid for my first 2 albums. I just went and worked in the oil field. I would take off work. I would go to the studio. I would go back. I would make some money and save it up. I'd go back, work on the album, and yeah, my first 2 albums is how I did it, just working in the oil field. I wasn't really able to play. I would play around whatever town I was working in, but I wasn't touring at all back then. It was just work and recording.
Right. And you also, we'd talked about this, I think, when we were hanging out up in DuBois, but there was a time where you had to take these gigs that are like 4-hour gigs playing to the back of people's heads, and and you have to do, everybody, I guess, does it for a different amount of time, and there's also people that, the exceptions, they get to skip that, but they're pretty few and far between. But you were talking about how you feel like, in the past few years, you've gotten to where you don't have to do that.
Yeah.
And people don't usually see that. So, I mean, how many years was that you were just touring your ass off and also playing those just kind of sucky, non-paying gigs like that?
Yeah, it was probably 8 years. I mean, if you count like before I even recorded an album, that was from the time I got out the military till just a few years ago. So, I mean, there's math in there somewhere, like 15 years or something. Like
It's a long time, though. Yeah. Like, for people that, not to discourage people, but, I mean, that's the grind for a lot of people, that you got to put that in before you kind of get to where you can play the more enjoyable stuff. It's a lot of work.
And you can get lucky, and stumble across a record deal or somebody who's just got a lot of money who just wants to throw money at you and make you an album. But for the vast majority of us, you either get tired of it and settle down and get a family, or you tough it out and just keep at it. And I wouldn't change anything, because I'm a songwriter more than anything. And I've learned so much from having to struggle through all that, as a songwriter and just as a person in general,
What does your writing process look like? Do you write every day, or do you write when you feel like it, or what's what is the process for you?
It's changed a lot. I used to write every single day. I would touch a guitar every single day. It's not so much like that now. Now I'm like I'm constantly putting stuff in my phone. Like it's nice to have an app on my phone where I can just I'm not looking for a pen, I can just put it right in my phone at all times. And usually when I'm driving is when I'll have ideas pop in my head. But I'm so far behind on catching up. I would let it fill up a little bit and then I'd sit down and write. But I've just got a giant document in my phone of lyrics and ideas, and I haven't been sitting down and writing. So that's something I'm needing to work on right now. And it's kind of embarrassing to call myself a songwriter right now, just because I just haven't been doing it.
Right.
And part of it's because I have a girlfriend now, so there's always somebody else around me where I can't go and just be alone. And it's not like I can schedule it. I can't be like, excuse me, this is my songwriting hour,
Right.
And I might have to do that. I don't know. But when I've been perpetually single most of my life, so that moment can strike at any time, and I'm in the zone. I don't have to schedule it in or something.
Right.
So I need to learn how to work around that. If it means just going and buying a $30 hotel room in a shitty town somewhere, then that's what I need to do. And that's where I write best, is when I'm by myself in a shit hotel room. I don't know what it is. It's just something about it that really makes me want to write songs.
There's a great book called The War of Art by Stephen Pressfield.
I read that. I love that book. And that one makes me feel like a real piece of shit sometimes. And I really need to get my shit together. I need to read that again, actually.
Yeah, that's a book that I've probably read 4 or 5 times. It's short, and you can listen to it. I think it's only like 4 or 5 hours,
Yeah.
and every time I go back, I hear something new. But he talks about that, treating your writing like a professional.
Yeah.
And that doesn't necessarily mean in a monetary sense. A professional
Yeah.
shows up to work every day, and that I'm the exact same way where I think like,
Yeah.
dang, every time I think of that book, I'm like, man, I need to make time to sit down and write.
Yeah. And like I said, I've always had like some kind of day job to where I had a little bit of security where it sucked, if I'm going and touring and like maybe I can't even sleep that night, I have to go straight to work. That part always would suck. But I had the security financially where like I knew I was going to get a paycheck, I don't have that now because like I'm just shoeing horses on the side, doing a little bit of leather work and music. So, and I'm so much more focused on how I'm going to get money right now to pay rent, so my girlfriend doesn't break up with me kind of shit,
Right.
And I'm also, like, I love shoeing horses, and so that's another thing I'm very interested in. I'm wanting to learn more about that, so I'm getting pulled in these different directions, and I'm forgetting that my main passion is songwriting, and I need to figure that out soon. Because, like I said, it's kind of embarrassing to call myself a songwriter sometimes, because, like, I'm playing songs I wrote years ago.
Right.
Like, I've got a couple of new ones, like we wrote that one together, but they're far and few between, and I need to get my shit together with songwriting, I guess is basically what I'm trying to boil it down to.
Well, last night you were telling the story, but I think you and your girlfriend have one of the coolest stories about how you guys met. It's like something out of a movie, but
Yeah.
can you tell that story?
Yeah, so the past 5-6 years, I go down to Turling when I play Christmas Eve at the Starlight, and then I just kind of hang out down there. It's one of my favorite spots to go. But so not this past December, but the one before that, I went down there again, and for whatever reason, like I usually end up, hungover and sleeping in my van in the Starlight parking lot or wherever I can park the van, and I woke up early, and I decided to go to Mexico. So I drove down to Boquillas and went and crossed, and I bumped into somebody that I knew, and my current girlfriend was there and with a couple other people, and they were going down to bring Christmas presents to the kids across the border, and I was just like, well, all right, I'm with you fellas, and I just hung out with them the rest of the day, and that's how we met. And she's Canadian, and I met her crossing the border into Mexico. So if I was a real songwriter, I'd already have a song about it. But
Well, and
then we got drunk and rode donkeys, and
yeah. So Boquillas is kind of, that border crossing is very unique. I don't know if there's another one like that, but it's in Big Bend National Park. And it's a border crossing where you can, if you have your passport, you could take, I guess depending on the time of year, you can take a little boat across. You can just roll up your pants and walk across, or you can rent a donkey, and one of the locals will let you pile on a donkey and walk you across there. But I don't think a lot of people know that exists, but it's like what border crossings used to be. Not like a super high security at all.
Yeah, it's pretty laid back.
And you just showed up there and happened to meet a gal from Canada that lives in your van with you now, more or less.
Yeah, she's got a remote job, and she just works while I'm driving down the road. It's a pretty good deal for her, too.
Pretty dang good, yeah.
She's been in business meetings, and as I'm driving through Yellowstone, there's bison and elk and shit everywhere, and she's never really seen that stuff. So
yeah, you were telling me another story that you, I think it was in Yellowstone, that you pulled out your fishing rod and went down to the river to go. I'll let you tell that story.
Yeah, well, this one's kind of my bad. I took Lori out, my dog, and I tied her up to my guitar case just outside of the van. I walked up the way to go fly fishing for a bit, and I got just to where I couldn't really see the van, and I don't know. I was fishing maybe 20 minutes, and I see this herd of elk kind of running across the creek, and I was thinking, I better go get Lori and put her in the van, in case she freaks out about these elk. And I get back over there, and there's this big commotion going on. I guess this bull bison was coming through the same time this herd of elk was coming through, and I didn't realize it. And the park ranger's yelling at my girlfriend to get her dog, and yeah.
And she was on a Zoom meeting.
She was in the middle of a business meeting, and she's like, "Excuse me, I'm in Yellowstone State Park." And so I walked back up, like, at the end of it. Like, I didn't get yelled at or nothing.
You missed all of it.
Yeah. She took all of it.
Well, let's talk about Lori. Lori's been your traveling partner for a long time. Lori is, I guess she's just a mutt.
Yeah, right? She was a stray. My buddy found her out there in southeast Texas, had a deer lease. And I think she's definitely got some pit in her, but like pit and mountain cur. Mm-hmm. Had somebody say Dutch Shepherd, maybe.
Yeah, kind of just like a pit bull, hound dog kind of mix.
She was definitely somebody's hunting dog that just got lost.
And how old's Lori now?
She's 9, pretty sure.
And how long you had her?
8 years.
And she's been on the road with you a bunch.
Yeah, she's seen a lot more of the country than most people, for sure.
And Lori, we did a video of this, but Lori sings with you on occasionally. There's what key is it that really gets her going?
She'll do pretty much any harmonica, fiddle, slide guitar. I've heard her do it to drums, just random. But like, she's never done it to me just singing. But I was playing somebody's wedding, and Brandon Ryder was the headliner. I opened up for him, and he was singing in B flat, I think he said, and she just walked up to him and started howling at him while he was singing. He wasn't playing harmonica or anything. And then he did another song in that same key, and she did the same thing. So, like,
that's crazy.
I guess if you sing in B flat, she'll harmonize with you. And it was during their first dance at the wedding too, and so I was like, oh shit, I'm about to get fired. But luckily they were dog people, and they just thought it was the cutest thing ever. Yeah, book us for your weddings. I planned to that. Well,
I usually, unless there's anything else you wanted to talk about, I usually close out. I got a couple questions I ask everybody. So imagine or think of your favorite TV show or book or movie. What character do you think best resembles you?
Man, I don't know. I think Blood Meridian is probably definitely my favorite book. I feel like I can relate to the kid in the book a lot. The main character there. I'm nowhere near as tough as that guy, but
yeah,
just the confliction that he has with a lot of things. He's this tough dude, but he's also like, you can tell he's got a big heart sometimes, and the constant tugging in both directions. So
the kid
just off, because I'm listening to that on the audiobook right now, so I would say I could relate to that dude for sure.
That's one of my favorite books of all time. And kind of a funny story about that is Loose Arrow is my favorite band ever.
Yeah.
And Ben Nichols put out that Last Pale Light in the West solo project that he worked on. I knew that album front to back, but I had never read Blood Meridian. I didn't even know what it was.
Yeah.
So I knew all those songs. And somebody at some point was like, you got to read this book, Blood Meridian. So I downloaded it and was listening to it while I was cutting hay. And some of those names that are in his songs, like Tobin and the Judge and the Kid.
Bath Cat.
Yeah, stuff like, I was like, man, I know these names. Where do I know them from? And so I knew the album before I ever knew that it was like a concept album about the book.
Well, now I got to listen to that. I hadn't heard that.
Oh, yeah. So that album came out, I don't know, 2010 or something like that.
Oh, hell yeah.
But Ben Nichols, the front man, he's done a couple like solo projects by himself, and every song in that, if I remember right, like every song basically is about a character and Blood Meridian.
Oh, that's killer.
But it's a sweet album.
Yeah,
but that great book.
I've been trying to pick my next dog's name out of that book.
Yeah, there's some good names.
I think about some random shit sometimes. Bath Cat would be a good dog name.
Yeah, it would. Okay, well, the last question. It's your last. You picture yourself. You're in a cold, dark cell. It's your last day. They're gonna hang you right before sundown. Somebody comes by and they ask you. You get your last meal, and you get to sing or listen to one song. What's the meal and what's the song?
The meal would be a Tessel's beer. It's a Dutch beer that I drank when I was playing over there, and it's my favorite beer of all time. And the song, probably, you can cut out my pause, right? I really want to think about this. I think it would be Look Up, Look Down. That Lonesome Road, Doc Watson.
Oh,
The version, there's a version on YouTube of it that he does that just is my favorite thing of all time.
that's cool.
Yeah.
Well, so you said you're working on an album right now, a live album. Do you have a date roughly when you think that'll come out?
No, it's just about mixed up and everything, and then master it, and then I'm going to move forward with everything. So I'm tentatively shooting for June.
June.
Yeah.
Sweet. Yeah, and you're playing Dusty Vaquero Days this year. You'll be up in Wyoming around that time.
Yeah.
End of May, start of June, and
yeah. So if you need me to hop on like some dude horse, let people take pictures of me, and be an extra $40.
There you go. Yeah. So we got that coming out. Where can people find you're touring all the time, all over the place. So where can people find all that information about where you're going to be? And
yeah, Instagram's best, but I post all my shows and stuff. I have a band in town. It's linked to my website, ZackAaronMusic.com. And if you want to know where I'm playing, and just message me, because that will probably remind me that I need to update my website or something. So just send me a message and ask me where I'm playing. I'll be like, oh yeah, I need to tell people about these shows. So. And
if you need some music, there's a good chance he's coming through wherever the hell you live.
Yeah.
Wherever it is at some point.
Yeah.
Sweet. Well, I should also say our buddy JD, you've toured a bunch with JD. He had a pretty bad deal happen recently, so I don't know when this podcast will come out, but we're thinking of JD, praying for him. Bad deal, but his family, they got a GoFundMe set up for him and stuff, so we're hoping he gets back to...
Yeah, and on Easter, Courtney Patton is putting on a benefit show that I'll be playing at as well at the Post in Fort Worth on Easter Day. That's to raise money for JD too, if this comes out before then. But.
Yeah. Sweet. Well, I appreciate you doing the podcast, and I'm sure we'll run into each other on the other side of the earth at some point soon. So
yeah.
Cool. Well, thanks for doing this, and we'll talk to you guys on the next podcast.
All right. See you.
Thanks for listening in. Don't forget to head over to DustyVaqueroDays.com. You can find festival tickets there. In our store, we have all kinds of different merch. Big thank you to Brendan Scott Green for making the original music for this podcast. Please give us a review. We'd love to hear your feedback and tell your friends. We'll see you next week.